can describe it is when I was a kid, I got kidnapped from my real dad, and my mum took me off with someone else. And then she left, and me and my sister were left with him. He abused me and my sister. I ended up running away. I've had enough. I got caught a couple of times by the police, got put in care, but I didn't like that. And then when I was about 13, I ended up going to London with a rucksack, wearing shorts and flip-flops in the middle of winter. I got in with the wrong crowd. I ended up taking drugs, abusing alcohol. That's what made me vulnerable. That's what makes other homeless people vulnerable, because of what's happened in the past. I didn't want to turn out to be a drug user or an alcoholic. I did it to numb the pain, and I got hooked on it. And then I got targeted by traffickers. The first time they approached me, it sounded really good. They promised me 40 quid a day to go to work from, plus alcohol or drugs if I needed it, but it didn't work out like that. They said the work was labouring, but first we had to find the jobs. They'd buy us clothes from charity shops, like a tie, white shirt, trousers. We'd walk around neighbourhoods looking for work, knocking on doors, sometimes for 12, 15 hours a day. Our shoes were falling off when we were walking. There were holes in them, but they just didn't care. And then when we got a job, we'd have to do it. I did block paving, tarmacking, gardening, roofing. The roofing was the worst, because I'm petrified of heights and there was no health and safety. There were no hats, no proper equipment. You got shown once and you just had to get on with it and get it done. We weren't getting fed at all, really. They give you enough to keep you going. Sandwiches mostly. Most of the time we slept in the back of vans, and sometimes ended up in a tent. You couldn't get showers half the time, and you're so tired, but you didn't hardly go to sleep anyway, because you didn't know if there'd be a bang on the door, someone coming to beat you up again. They'd be fighting all the time. It was horrible. A lot of people say when they drop you off for work and you're knocking on all these doors, why don't you ask one of them to call the police? But they're going to know it's you. They're going to find you. And they say, why can't you run? Run where? You've got no phone, no ID, no money. You can't forget the fear too. One time, I did run away. I managed to blag a lift. I can't remember how. I got myself out the area, but they found me. 3 of them surrounded me in town. We were right next to a shop with big windows. They got round me and said, if you don't come with us now, you'll go through that window. And I knew they weren't messing about. We pulled into a petrol station and a cop car literally just pulled into the space next to us. And the guy who was in the car with me, he said, if you say anything, I'll kill you in this car. And I was so petrified I couldn't say anything. Even though they were just there, I couldn't risk it. I was too scared. And people ask, why does it happen to you so many times? It's because they target you when you're drunk. And it's wet and cold and you're hungry and someone's offering you work and a drink at 3 o'clock in the morning. You jump on it. The penny don't drop, because all you're thinking is you ain't got a drink in your bag. But soon the cycle starts again. Now I see the traffickers in day centres looking for workers. I do the soup kitchen once in a while, and I remember seeing 2 youngsters being approached by 2 men. They offered them work. I went over later and warned them off. I said, you don't want to do that because it's not true. What they're saying to you is not true. I thought to myself, if I weren't there that day, they would have ended up being trafficked. I say to people who work with homeless, you've got to look out for the signs. If you see people coming in the building offering work, just think, why would they try and find workers at a soup run? It's over 5 years now since I was last sleeping rough. My faith has helped a lot, and having Christian friends around. I was easily led when I was growing up, but I've learned to stay with good people. But it's still difficult. I've been out of it for a few years, but I'm always looking over my shoulder, and I will do for the rest of my life.